Insights, practical truths for successful living with Carl Summer.
The Boy Who Cried Wolf teaches children the importance of being responsible and trustworthy. Watching sheep all day long for an energetic boy can become extremely boring. To avoid boredom, Nicholas began throwing rocks at trees. At first it was fun, but throwing rocks also became boring. Then he made a slingshot. Nicholas had lots of fun with his new slingshot, but like all things we do, novelty wears off, and even things that at once seemed exciting and fun lose their luster. Remember your first bike or your first car? The excitement, the thrill? We like to get something new, but we cannot always satisfy our wishes. We shouldn't go around depressed because we cannot get what we want. Sometimes one sees parents not training their children in this important area. A child is in the supermarket with his mom. He sees a toy that he wants and takes it off the shelf. The mother says, "No, you cannot have the toy." The boy starts pouting and demanding, "I want the toy." "No, you cannot have it," the mother responds. The boy begins to scream and stomp his feet. "I want that toy." The mother, greatly embarrassed, yields and gives the boy what he wants. What did this mother do? She taught her son that if he makes a big enough fuss, he gets what he wants. I often say children are born with a degree in psychology. They instinctively want the world to spin around their axis. I had a pretty good idea how I wanted my children to behave before I had them. But one thing I didn't realize, how stubborn they could be and the amount of punishment they would take. My final solution was, I don't care how stubborn you are, I'm going to be more stubborn. When my child would make a fuss, then it was sure he wouldn't get what he wanted. It was an automatic no. By the way, my youngest child is 44 years old, and he, along with two other of my children, run my 3 businesses. They are a tremendous asset to me. Again, Nicholas, bored from throwing stones and playing with a slingshot, he gets an idea to have a little fun. I'll wave my hat and yell, "Wolf, wolf!" Then the townspeople will race up the hill to help me. Then he roars with laughter, thinking about what will happen. Without thinking any further, Nicholas jumps on a rock, waves his hat, and cries as loud as he could, "Wolf! Wolf!" Everyone in town races up the hill to help Nicholas. Nicholas hid behind a large boulder and laughed as he watched the townspeople slip, slide, and fall as they raced up the hill. He had a great time. Then someone asked the question, "Where's the wolf?" Nicholas lied, saying, "The wolf ran into the forest when he saw you coming." Some men and women looked for wolf tracks, but saw none. Also, some looked at the sheep. The sheep were much too calm to have just been attacked by a wolf. Now many of the townspeople became suspicious. Nicholas lied to the people about what had happened. There is one great advantage of always telling the truth. One doesn't have to have a perfect memory. But a liar has to have a perfect memory, for liars have to remember all the stories that they have concocted to avoid telling the truth. Being a person of truth is a much more peaceful way to live. Once the label of being a liar is attached on someone, one never knows when he or she is telling the truth. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is that they tell their children how to live, but they don't model that behavior. They say, "Do what I say, but don't do what I do." You may be able to force this on your children when they are young, but when they are older, they'll totally reject your teaching. We as parents must model the desired behavior. If someone called you on the phone and you don't want to speak to them, never tell your child, "Tell them I'm not home." Remember, your actions speak so loud that I can't hear what you are saying. I mentioned in the video how important it is as a business person to be known as one who is reliable and trustworthy. Having integrity as a business person is critical to success. Likewise, if we want to be effective as parents, we must be an example to our children. Nicholas didn't listen, and he repeats his trick again. A few townspeople come, but this time they had their eyes open. They caught him laughing behind a rock. His dad and mom scold him, but like many children, the words went in one ear and out the other. When they left, he kicked a stone and grumbled, "Why is everyone so mad at me? Can't they take a little joke? Why does everyone take everything so seriously and lecture me about lying?" I have 5 children and 20 grandchildren. Been a high school teacher, assistant dean of boys. I worked many years with children. Some children listen much more than others, but others, they need the sledgehammer approach. Unless you hit them over the head with a sledgehammer, they don't listen. And some children, they never learn. Our prisons are full of them. I spent much time teaching my children. I'll never forget when one of my sons told me about the girl he was dating. "You're like her." He was concerned how I felt. When I saw the girl another son was dating was a bad choice, I told him what I thought. Fortunately, I had an excellent rapport with him, and he took my advice. He broke up with the girl. Today, all my children are happily married. But one day the wolf did come. Nicholas cried and pleaded for help, but his cries fell on deaf ears. Finally, he realizes the big mistake he had made in lying to the townspeople. He humbles himself before the townspeople, apologizes, and asks for their forgiveness. The townspeople forgive him. Oh, if only everyone, when they discover that they did wrong, would readily admit it and ask for forgiveness. How many marital problems occur because mates, in their proud stubbornness, refuse to admit when they do things that are wrong. If you're wrong, humble yourself and admit it. Great minds are those who are quick to admit when wrong. The story has a happy ending. Nicholas apologized, the townspeople forgive him, and from then on he becomes known as one who could always be trusted.